Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. And as the thumbnail and the title of this video says, I'm selling my Apple stock to buy into Apple's partners as they enter into the EV market. It's projected that they're going to have a vehicle available by 2023. With that in mind, I want to be a part of it, but I don't want it to be in Apple stock. And why is that? Well, from my studies and my look at Apple's history, they're going to have to average a return of 25% per year for the next 5 years for their stock to double from where it is right now. And I don't think that's going to happen, particularly under the current circumstances. But I think that could happen and probably will happen from 3 stocks that I've identified that I think are going to be major partners with Apple in their EV entry. And I just don't know of any other brand other than maybe Tesla right now that could command an interest, a loyalty, a following in the EV market as Apple could. They have a reputation for being the best at what they do, for giving you the best of the technology that's available, and I think that's what they're going to do in the EV market. And so with that in mind, I want to be a part of it. What I want to do in this video, though, is share with you my logic, my following, my research. I have bought some research. At the end of this video, I'm going to share with you how you can get a copy of the research that I have put together from my resources as well as from the resources that I purchase. That's right. I buy those gurus. You know, you see them. They come to you and do a 45-minute video and say, hey, come in for $49.99 and join our thing. And then when you get into it, you find out it's $3,000-$4,000 a year. I pay it because I want that advantage. And I want to bring that advantage to my tribe. My tribe is a group of people who are all long-term investors who don't really care about inflation and interest rates right now. We're looking for what's going to change in the world we live in. And one of those changes we know is EV, electric vehicles. And I believe one of the major players is going to be Apple. Now, I don't like to invest in car companies. To give you a reason why is, I believe it was in 1929, there were 1,900 automobile manufacturers in the United States. Believe it or not, some of them were electric vehicle manufacturers. How many of them are left today? There's 3, Ford, General Motors, and Tesla. 2 of them don't make much money. 2 of them have astronomical union problems. 2 of them are deeply in debt. So with that in mind, I don't buy car companies. But what I will buy is the companies that are going to make the next luxury automobiles coming to our country, coming to the world possibly, and I think they're probably going to be made here in the United States. So that's what this video is about. How I'm going to sell some of my, not all of it, some of my Apple stock to buy into 3 companies that I'm quite confident are going to give me a double, a triple, a 10x in the very near future. So what do you need to do? First, you need to And then you need to recognize this is not financial advice. This is the best financial education you're going to get.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, so who are the three companies that I think that Apple really needs and is showing some indications that they're going to partner with, and how can you recognize them, and how can you get a full report on everything? This is a 5-page report that I want to send you, and I'll tell you how to get it at the end of the video. So the first one is Luminar. I first became aware of Luminar probably about a year and a half ago, and I thought it was too early. Their ticker is LAZR. They currently sell for $8.34. They have a market cap of $3.28 billion, and they've been as high as $40 a share December of 2020. So it's a lot easier for a $3.2 billion company to double, to triple, to 10x than it is a $2.4 trillion Apple. So I like Luminar. Why? Well, first of all, what I did was go to Seeking Alpha and learn about what they did. I learned about their young CEO who developed this technology and has worked on it. And I remember an article I wrote that this was one of those guys who slept under his desk to work so hard to make this company into something. And as a result, they have emerged as the leader in their field. They have the best system currently on the market. Now, Elon would argue that with you, but it's a different kind of a system. Elon uses a video system. This is a laser system that sends out a laser, pulses, and then measures the time for the pace for the pulse to come back, the laser pulse to come back, and it's called time of flight measurement. That basically tells the system what's out in front of you or to the side of you or to rear to you to keep your vehicle oriented to all the vehicles, all the structures, everything around you. Their system has the highest resolution, the longest range, the best performance in adverse weather, the least interference from other LiDAR systems and sunlight, and the lowest price in the industry. So rather than Apple develop this technology, I believe that Apple is going to, as they enter this field, going to be the first big buyer of their technology. Now, the other thing that I don't think many people know is 2 weeks ago, an Titan project employee, that's what Apple calls their project, Titan, director. So 2 weeks ago, the Titan director left Apple and joined Luminar. His name is C.J. Moore. He had come from Tesla just something like 7 weeks ago or 7 months ago. It was 7 months. He was a former Tesla engineer, and then 2 weeks ago he left Apple and joined Luminar. Does that tell you that maybe he joined Luminar as the head of their technology? That maybe Apple is saying, okay, let's put one of our people in Luminar's technology department and gear up so that we have a nice transition when we make this move into our Titan project. I think that's a slam dunk. I really do. And so I'm a buyer of Luminar, LAZR, at its current price. I believe that as I said, it's been as high as 40. That would be more than a 10x if it got up to that price. I'd be happy with a 5x. So Luminar, LAZR is one of my 3 picks. The next pick is in the battery field. This is a company by the name of QuantumScape, ticker symbol QS. current market cap, $4.73 billion, has been as high as $132. That's $10 to $132. It was at that 132 in December of 2020, not that long ago. But it was when all the hype was about the EV market and potential. What makes QuantumScape different? Well, currently, most of the batteries that are in EV cars are what they call liquid chemistry. And I'm not going to do a chemistry class for you, but in my research paper that I'll share with you, I'll go into, there's 3 different types of liquid batteries, and they are what is being used currently today. This is a solid state battery, has no liquid in it. But what it does is it gives you a faster and longer charge. It's estimated that with this kind of battery, the solid state that QuantumScape is making, that a car will be able to travel thousands of miles without a charge. That's a game changer. That's a game changer. And it's estimated and predicted that by 2030, this will be the most common type of battery as this technology develops in not only in your cars, but also in your phones, because again, you have a liquid form battery in here and you need to charge it. Probably, I charge mine every evening. This will go for weeks in a solid state battery. So this QuantumScape at $10.15 per share has been as high as 132, is on my list of stocks to buy. What about its pedigree? It's made up of a group of Stanford and Berkeley graduates. These are all engineers who have come together and are working collectively to create this technology. This is one of those companies that, again, it just makes sense to me. I read an article in the Wall Street Journal about a family who had an electric car and wanted to travel from New Orleans to Chicago, and found that their car took 3 hours to charge, and it was like a scavenger hunt trying to find a place to charge. I'm going to do another video on another company that I think is going to take care of that problem. So QuantumScape is my number 2 company. My number 3 is truly a moonshot. And this is exciting because this is a $2.86 company. It's called AEVA, ticker symbol AEVA, currently selling for $2.86. Its market cap is $608.9 million, not with a B, but with an M, and it's been as high as $21 February 2021. So if it got back to that, that would be almost a 10x stock. So what does AVA do? AVA uses a different system than Luminar. It uses rather than time of flight, which is a pulse that you send out and then it bounces back. I kind of think of that as like sonar, what the Navy uses. It sends out a continuous beam. So it is much more reliable and it's much more efficient than the other. It's what the scientists in this field call the next generation of LiDAR sensors. So if Luminar is, they say, 2.0, this is 3.0. It was founded, get this, by 2 ex-Apple engineers. So these are guys who can call Tim Cook and get him to answer the phone. Okay? These are guys who will respond to Tim Cook if he calls them and calls a meeting. So I believe that this is going to be what is going to be in the premium automobiles. This is what you're going to expect in a BMW, in a Porsche, in an Audi, in a Mercedes, and probably in a Titan. And as a matter of fact, this company, AEVA, AEVA, is currently working with the two top truck programmers. And I think you can see why if you're putting a system on a huge semi, you want the best system available. Because if you get in an accident with a semi, you know there's a local lawyer who will be happy to help you go after that trucking company. All you got to do is turn on your TV, and they're chasing those trucks down. They're right behind them. So this is going to be a luxury vehicle. In fact, they are currently working, AEVA is currently working with Porsche and Audi. So that is my number 3 stock. So that's where I think I want my money. And as I said earlier, to get a double out of Apple over the next 5 years, I have figured I got to have a 25% growth factor from 23 to 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 to get a double. And that is if Apple ends up, as it currently is, down 25% from its prior year. Now, where do I get this information? How can you have access to this information? As I said, I recognize that my objective is long-term, but at the same time, I want to maximize the return on my investment over a longer period of time. In order to do that, I have to be able to look into the future. And I'm pretty good at it because what I recognize what artificial intelligence is. And so I have subscribed to it. What do I mean by that? I have one brain and I have one life of experience. But I can buy books and I can read them, and I can get the life experience of those authors. All right? So now, if I read one book, I've not only grown my intelligence, but I've absorbed someone else's intelligence. This is something I've been doing for 2 years. I consume a book a month. I remember the first time I really was exposed to artificial intelligence. It was through this book that I read by Amy Webb, and it's called The Big Nine. And what she explained to me is there are 9 companies that are collecting data, and that data is being analyzed by computers to basically create artificial intelligence. Well, I now know what Amy Webb was talking about. I've read the Code Breaker, so I understand genome sequencing, genome editing, and things of that nature. I've read a lot of books, so what I'm achieving is artificial intelligence. So when I look at things and I see them differently than you do, because I'm not just using my brain, I'm using the brain of all these people that I've absorbed over the last 2 years, actually over my lifetime. What I then realized is there are some other people out there who have research staffs and have other life experiences that I can pay a annual fee ranging from $3,000 to $5,000 a year, and I can absorb their knowledge. Now, my problem was that they send me so much, I can't absorb it all. So I have hired an analyst who then goes through that and then feeds me that information. What I then have done is shared it with my tribe. The people who have come to my Discord, participated in a Patreon, and are paying me $60 a month to share not only my knowledge, but these gurus' knowledge as well. And what I just shared with you about those three companies, Luminar, QuantumScape, and Ava, came from a culmination of what I've read, what I've gotten from the gurus, and normally I only share it with my Patreon Platinum members. Here's a picture that shows you how we structure our Patreon. Now, again, two things. I'm going to put in the description a link to my 5 pages of research on these three companies and Apple's Tradin project. I'm also going to include this information on what our Patreon is all about. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. That's what I want to share with you in the future. So what should you do about it? Okay, now that you've subscribed, now that you know where to get this information for yourself, let's come together and work together to make better investment decisions, to learn our tax code so that we keep more of what we make, and take advantage of what the government will offer us. And that is that we individually can pass $12.25 million onto our heirs. Let's make that an objective, and let's get it done. I'll talk to you more about this tomorrow.